afternoon, and welcome to this edition of Referee's Corner here on IronStack.com. I'm your host, Earl Bass, and I'm joined by FIFA female officials in Natasha Trott, Crystal Silvers, and Stephanie Dale. First of all, ladies, thank you very much for taking this opportunity to join me this afternoon and discuss your journeys, your future, and just how things have transpired over a period of time. Again, welcome to Stephanie and Crystal, who are on Bermuda soil, helping out the likes of Natasha and others. Crystal, tell us a little bit about your first experience here.
You tie my foot. Either the game part or the vacation part. Which part?
Well, ain't the game vacation? The game is vacation. But you know, I'm gonna tease you about something in the game that you said, so don't worry, that's gonna come. but about your experience thus far in Bermuda.
Yeah. Coming into a friendly environment, I mean, it makes you feel comfortable as a new, as a citizen, and being on the field, different temperature of games, so you try to adjust it, but at the end of the day, you keep your level to what football standard is required. So yeah, it was pretty interesting on that first game.
Yeah. Well. It's only one person holding the whistle, and that's me. So you hold on to this. Remember that? you should do more for this player.
I sure
did. You had everybody behind me cracking up because I said to him, I said, "Well, he ain't gonna say nothing else, and neither is anybody else that was around that heard it. So just watch that right away. So well done on that." Stephanie, welcome. What has your experience been like thus far?
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's been good actually. I really like the island life. It's a beautiful country. It's my first time here, and I'm looking forward to the experience. To be honest.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Now, recently, Natasha, you have officiated pretty much like these other ladies in Women's World Cup qualifiers. So this time around, what was a little different from before for you?
Different with the trip, or
Yeah, just the experience altogether.
um, I think the different part was that I knew the referees that I was gonna be in the games with, so
Mm.
it made going into the game less stressful because I knew the people that I was gonna be with.
Oh, okay. And that was it because you done two games, right?
2 games, yeah.
So you done them. Everybody was the same.
No, both games were different, 2 different countries, but I
Okay.
knew the referees for both games separately.
Okay. All right. And Crystal, as a female official in the middle, what are some of the things you want to ensure that your ARs are most comfortable with you and understanding how you operate game by game?
It's funny you say to make my air comfortable with me is more that I make it easy for my heirs. I make sure I am comfortable with them. I don't put pressure on my heirs. I ask them what are their qualities in order for me to adjust to them rather than they adjusted to the referee. Well, for me, yeah. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
about, yeah.
Okay. And how does that work for you? Because clearly you sound as if you can change gears and what you need to do to adapt to them. So it
Right.
works for you?
Yes, it works for me fine. It works for me fine. As you said, one of the things though we use key is our eye contact. They sure know
Mm.
Crystal personality, so they recognize what Crystal is doing from her body language already. Right? So
Right.
it just adds with our eye contact, and yes, we perform well with that. They perform
Mm.
well with that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, hearing Crystal talk, what would you consider your strengths in officiating, whether it be AR, whether it be in the middle? What do you consider your strengths?
I'm sorry, the internet went a while ago. I didn't get that.
Okay. Crystal was talking about strengths. What would you consider your strengths are, whether it be AR or in the middle as an official? What are your strengths?
Um, I would have to say, I mean, I don't know, but like those that stand out to me is like teamwork and communication. It goes
Mhm.
back to what Crystal said, like trying to make your teammates feel comfortable in working with you. Good Yeah, I'm back. So good communication in the game actually makes the game simpler and easier to manage and officiate, and it will bring out good teamwork amongst the team. And once you have good teamwork, you'll have a good performance by the whole team. So, like for me, as an assistant referee, again, it goes back to making my referee comfortable and doing my very best to ensure that I have a great performance or an excellent performance so the referee can look good and the whole team can look good. So I'm doing my part for the whole team.
Hmm. Well, okay. We're going to welcome in Satya, who's just back from the Dallas Cup. Welcome, Satya.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well, being that you got your mic open, what was the experience like at Dallas Cup?
It was pretty amazing. Um, at first it was kind of uncomfortable because I was the only girl and then the youngest person there. Um, it was a few women there, American referees, but the youngest was like 24. So it took some time for me to open up, but after my third game, I was comfortable with the assessors. The assessors were a big help. Um, I loved them all. Um, and after the games, it was just great. Like a great environment to be in.
Okay. What did you find different from officiating in Bermuda?
Um, just I felt more comfortable making my calls. Like the players, even when I made the call against them, they was just like, okay, Raf, it's fine. Like that was a big difference than in Bermuda. Coaches were great. Um, we had some supporters that thought differently and said their thoughts, but it was nice and calm, way more calmer than Bermuda.
Right, right. And let's come back to you, Natasha, because having these guys here in Bermuda, how much of that has helped you to advance your game?
Um, being having being able to referee with FIFA referees in Bermuda, that is just help in itself. Um, it's been great to have them. Excited for the game tomorrow. Let's do it.
Knowing what caliber they bring to the game to help it flow, what are some of the things you're enjoying more about it?
um, they keep my standard high. I feel like when it like before these last few trips that I've been on, refereeing just with the refs in Bermuda, um, they're not FIFA referees, so they don't have to be at a standard, you know. But FIFA referees coming into Bermuda, it helps me to stay above the game.
Mm. And Crystal, you mentioned it earlier about making sure that you keep a standard, and in doing so, what are some of the things you have been working on, periodically to ensure that you stay focused 100% over whatever 90, 95, 98 minutes?
Yeah, so I mean, it all begins with you, the individual, what you want from it. And we know fitness is a must. And I must make reference to Sotia when she said her first experience was a friendly environment.
Mhm.
I must commend this Alpha Dallas one time because back then you didn't have that friendly environment. So I am glad that she can say that is a motivation for others to really say, hey, something is being put in place. So thanks for saying that, Sotia. And another thing too, as I talk about fitness, which is your major thing, you just have to keep ahead of your laws, game tactics, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about positioning and movement. You can run, but to
Mhm.
put that in the game is a different story, you know?
Knowing
Because
where to
again,
run.
exactly. Because as I said, at my game, I have never seen the two teams play in Bermuda. Every country has a different culture, so you just need to know how to adapt to their playing style.
Mm,
And
mm,
that was it for me, basically.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Stephanie, how excited are you about officiating in a place like Bermuda, somewhere different?
I'm pretty excited. I like new environments. Um, I know, in Jamaica, they're kind of rough. They don't have very nice words coming out their mouths. But uh, I don't think Bermuda is that bad. But we will see.
And
The level of football, as Chris said, as Chris said, we just have to learn to adapt and, apply. It's the same law, same, well, we're fitting us. The same law, apply it across the board, keep your standards, and yeah, give a great performance outside.
Sure, sure. Crystal, coming back to you because when you remarked about what Satya said, what bad experience have you had, or what experiences have you heard about at the Dallas Cup? You had to know us and ask that
You like to do me this. Why you like to do me this?
because you can't give me a card.
No, no, no. I'm speaking way back 2014, my experience. I mean, the environment wasn't friendly. I wasn't in a position where you can like be yourself in a grassroots environment and say, hey, it's all about learning. I think then they expected you to learn to know so much coming into such when it didn't
Oh,
have that type of educational or practical ability at home from your
mhm,
instructor.
mhm,
So hence I give praise that they are now recognizing the level that we are really coming from and that we are really appreciating and we really want to learn rather
mhm.
than coming down on us. Yeah. Give us
Sure.
time to open up. Yeah. Which I think is really that is really a motivation for us, especially females.
Mm,
Especially.
mm.
So yeah.
So, Tay, you got some advice before you left about being hydrated and so forth. What was the weather like in Dallas?
It was dry heat. Just yeah, and it was so hot. I drank like probably about 10 to 12 water bottles before the game. Like it was just so dry. And even during the game, like I was drinking, but like it was a different type of heat.
Mhm. So even the advice you were getting before you left, a week before you left, or 2 weeks before you left, didn't prepare you enough for what you experienced, was it?
No, and especially because I thought I was doing a game like every other day,
Uh,
but instead I did two games every day, and they were 45-minute halves. So
oh
I
boy,
was just going.
baptism of fire. Actually, Natasha, the two games, the latest two World Cup games you done, what was the temperatures like in where you were?
Also super hot, like deathly. The Caribbean is just hot in general. I remember the game in Turks and Caicos. They made it earlier in the day than the other games going on.
Mhm.
It was the middle of the day. It was like 3 o'clock. No, two. We started like the warm up and stuff at two, and it felt like it was like 90 degrees. I left home wearing gloves on a bike to go
Wow.
into like super hot temperatures, man, and my feet were burning. It was just hot. So I feel your pain, Satya.
And Crystal, let me ask you, because you would have done a lot of running on Sunday. Our field, we haven't had a lot of rain of late, so that field would have been really, really hard. How do you manage to get through that? Because now it's almost like you're running on a road as opposed to a ground.
So this is a practice I never do. I never referee in sneakers. Never.
Right.
And then I recognize lately, you see, everyone is speaking about the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, the games I've been refereeing in the World Cup qualifier games, the field been hard, and I have been refereeing in sneakers.
I
And
noticed iRoots was
honestly, I
wearing
always
sneakers as
say,
well. I noticed iRoots was
yeah,
wearing
he was,
sneakers as
yeah,
well.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was really hard,
Mm, mm,
really
mm.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stephanie, tell us a little bit about your experience of getting to Bermuda, because I know everybody's got a story about getting to Bermuda. So what's your story?
A story?
Yeah.
Mine's no fun.
I'll
I
ask.
mean,
What's this? Okay, hold on to that, Stephanie. So Natasha, how was your experience coming back to Bermuda?
You mean last week?
Yeah.
That was terrible. I was supposed to come home on the 11th, and I didn't get home until the 10th. I mean, until the 12th, sorry.
Right.
It was so busy. I felt like I haven't slept in like weeks. It's been going. But the travel part it was a lot. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. See, coming from the Caribbean, there's always some sort of nightmarish experience along the way.
It
I'm
was
hoping you
nightmarish.
didn't have one, Stephanie, but she looks like she did. She just doesn't want to say it.
no, actually, no, surprisingly, it was actually pretty smooth.
Oh,
I left Kingston, came to Miami, and then from Miami, I had a long layover though.
right.
But from Miami to Bermuda, the flight was on time, and I got here on time. That was
Oh,
it. I was
wow.
surprised.
Must have known you was coming.
Yeah, because it's a holiday. The airport was empty. I was like, what?
Oh,
Okay.
well, lucky you in your experience. So Satya, what some of the things the people that were overseeing the tournament were advising you on what you could do to either improve or you were doing well? What advice were they giving you?
Um, so we actually joined with the CONCACAF. So they had about 10 assessors along with like probably like 20 referees.
Okay,
So I didn't really go to Americans and the Dallas Cup people. I was
right.
with the CONCACAF,
Okay.
and our game was getting assessed anyway. So I got advice from one of the assessors of what to do differently. Um, just making sure my calls are a little more delayed because I do make quick calls.
Okay.
Um, but I also got great advice from the referees who were already on the FIFA list, which was great refing with a FIFA referee like every game that I
Mm,
had. So it was so much advice that they gave us, like each game, each
mm,
play, each call that we made. They try to like say what could have been differently or how can this be more controlled during the game.
mm. Well, let me ask you, were you nervous knowing that you was being assessed by someone you don't know? Because usually in Bermuda, you know who the assessor is.
Yes, I was shaking, especially my first game. I was shaking so much because I had two FIFA referees, as the first and the fourth, and then I had the assessors like around the field. And each game, I was looking to see if the assessor had a camera out because, especially Peter Pendergrass,
Uh-huh.
I looked all around to see if he had a camera out because he just comes out of nowhere and he just pulls out his camera and then he would be like after the game, yeah, I saw you, I saw this, I saw that. So I was every game like I looked around each up like every inch of the field just to see if Sasha just comes around just to look.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, they're all laughing because they know exactly what you've been through. So Stephanie, give me your Peter Pendergrass magical moment.
Listen, Mr. Prendergast, for some reason, he's always there at the right time to catch that moment. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So she's right about that. You always have to be on guard, ensure that you're always ready for whenever he has these moments.
Sure, sure. It's funny enough because 2 weeks ago I had him on the show. We were talking about just that, how he manages to pop up, and because he's been through so much, seen so much, and anticipates a lot of stuff. So he's really in tune with what he's doing. So Crystal, give me your Peter Pendergrass story, because everybody's got a story on Mr. Pendergrass.
That is everyday story. Once Peter Prendergast is interested in your work, he's gonna be on your tail. Sometimes you don't even know where he getting linked for the game. It's like, can I breathe? he always he always knows what went wrong before you can even
Sure.
mention to him.
Uh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Natasha, now when you're doing overseas games and international matches, not knowing who you're probably getting to know a lot of the assessors now, but being judged by someone you don't know, how do you deal with that?
That's no stress for me. It's really not. I just go to do the game, and the person just happens to be there looking at the game, you know? It's fine. They're just people like me. They're to do a job. It doesn't have an effect on my game though.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you're one of those people. You're not easily distracted.
No. No.
Okay. Crystal, she's looking about 5 years younger if he had one, isn't she? She's really looking young if he had one, isn't it? I told her that earlier. But
Crystal knows why I'm wearing the hat.
let it out, Crystal. Let it out. You might as well let it out. What, she got a haircut?
No, I said I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that
Oh,
part because the Wi-Fi dropped there.
okay. So I was saying she looks about 5 years younger with that hat on. But she said you know why she's wearing the hat.
Something with the head on.
Yeah, she looks 5 years younger.
Who are we speaking of? I didn't hear
Natasha.
what you said.
Natasha looks 5 years younger with the hat on.
Mm-mm. Are you hearing me out?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. You're probably having internet
Right.
problems as well.
Repeat that.
I was
Yes.
saying
Repeat
Natasha.
that sweet statement.
I was saying Natasha looks 5 years younger with the hat on. But she, but she says you know why she's wearing the hat. So I'm telling you, let it out. Did she get a haircut?
I know I heard something about the hat today. Yeah, she can keep it on.
She,
There's a good reason why.
she can't officiate with a hat on tomorrow. So listen, if it's a haircut, let it out. Come on, you might as well let it out now. You know,
Time will tell. Time will
time.
tell.
Okay, all right. Now, glad. Stephanie, give us one of the things that drives you to want to officiate and continue to officiate.
One thing, I mean, there are many things. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, one thing is the love for the game. I love for the sport.
Mhm.
Intertwined with so many other things. The travel, like meeting new people, experiencing different levels of football, different cultures of football. Um, like it's amazing. As I said, it's exciting to even be here in Bermuda. I mean, I don't know what I'm going up against yet, but I'm just interested. I am excited for the experience, and that's always been my attitude towards anywhere I go.
Mm.
I'm just excited to see what they have to offer. So,
Okay. All right. What about you,
yeah.
Crystal? Same question. What drives you to want to officiate more and more?
For me, it is still the passion of the game. Coming from being a footballer to now on the field of play officiating, because I will say the minute I stop love the game, that's it. So that's my drive.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my comfort.
And I'll go with you, Satya. What drives you to officiate other than Mr. Williams?
Um, I would say just getting to know the game more from a different standpoint.
Hmm.
Um, right now, I feel like it's been a push, like after this trip, especially, like pushing me into a referee position because seeing football from like a wider standpoint is really amazing from a different standpoint. So I think just getting a better view.
And Natasha, for you?
What drives me to keep
Yes.
doing it?
Yes.
Um, I think the opportunity is what keeps me going, knowing that I can officiate with some of the best referees and um, for some of the best players in the world. That opportunity that can be a thing for me is what drives me, and the
Mm.
travel.
Right. Right. So Stephanie, what would you consider one of the biggest challenges for female officials in the game? I know you guys do a lot of the female games, but there are times where you've officiated in men's games. So what would you consider a big challenge for a female as an official?
Um, I would say fitness. Yeah, that's probably at the top of the list for me. Because I mean, going up, competing against the guys, like friendly competition,
Hmm.
competing against the guys, we're all hungry we're all getting taught the same knowledge of the laws of the game. So maybe it's how we apply it on the pitch
Uh-huh.
and fitness because men's games are definitely different or a different level than the women's games. And we have, in order to compete with the guys, we have to be up there in terms of fitness. We have to push ourselves more. And like in pushing ourselves more, we have to get the decisions right. Because without
Right.
the fitness, they always say you have to be in the best position to get the best decision. So
Mm.
it all comes together at the end of the day. Yeah, so top of the list, fitness and application of the laws.
Okay. What about you, Crystal? How do you adjust to those things?
For me, it is never an easy adjustment from refereeing girls to adjusting to the men's game. I mean, fitness is fitness, right? Yes, you have the difference between the men's time and the women's time, right? But honestly, I don't like to compare, right? Because to me, how each individual know how fit they can be to do any game, right?
Mhm.
That doesn't for me doesn't see like I need to do a men's test to know my fitness for me to do a men's game, right? Um,
Mhm.
so I'll always say on the field of play, the only problem I have it really is my foul determining foul recognition in terms of how hard was it for a female than for a man's game. That's the only
Mm.
issue I have on the field adjusted to that. That's
Right.
based that's all.
You look like you was in full flow there. But Natasha, for you, doing well, you do a lot of the men's games in Bermuda, but you're doing a lot of female games at the international level. How do you compare the difference, or is there a difference for you?
Um, I think the speed of the game is the biggest difference between the senior women's and the men's in Bermuda. It's just a little bit faster in the men's game.
Mm, okay, okay.
But I adjust accordingly, you know.
No, you come from a speedsters background, so yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you used to
yeah,
do that. You used to do that 100 and 200. So yeah,
exactly.
I ain't telling secrets, am I? I ain't telling the secrets, am I?
No secrets.
Okay.
All public
Uh,
info.
oh, well, that's true. That's true. That's true. Satia, so you were doing a lot of the girls' games, or what age groups were you officiating?
No, I was in the under 19 mans. That's the most games I had out of
Oh,
the week.
okay.
So I never. It wasn't. It was two separate tournaments with the girls and the guys. So I got put in with the guys.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Great stuff. So what does the rest of the year look like for Crystal Silvers?
It's not marked down according to Tasha. I just await for the opportunity.
Oh,
I
okay.
control the controllable. I maintain my fitness. I keep
Uh-huh.
abreast of the laws. I was mentioning to Tasha, since there were no football in Trinidad, I will be in front of the television watching a game and treat. Hey, ref, come on, we're supposed to be running there. She's like, no. I was like, yes.
I can't
I
believe you
have to
do that.
maintain.
But that's what you call staying on top of the game. That's
Of course. Yes. Indeed.
oh, no one caught no video of that. That would have been priceless. Oh, well, yeah, because you don't do your assignments. Your assignments are given to you guys. But looking at how much you've traveled, where has the game taken you, Crystal? Because I know a lot of people that start out. Some decide to start out just helping out or being paid to do a local game of sorts. But where's the game taking you as an official to try and inspire someone else?
Man, that's a really good question because it is like you're in it, but you're not expecting anything. And when it presents itself, you're like, all you have to do is showcase. So recently, coming from the World Cup games qualifier, and it's so busy with the traveling, it's from this country to that country. And then oops, I got this appointment to do Canada, Nigeria, which is a surprise to me because
Mm,
you're not expecting it. And as I said, I would say tier two, you might more use the other elite referees because they are the ones who are heading to World Cup. And I was surprised. And I'm like, you know what? It's in the cold. I cannot say no, even though I want to, but that's an opportunity.
yeah.
I just have to make the best of it,
Uh-huh.
So when these things happen, you know, as I said earlier, it really it adds to that drives. It motivates you to say, hey, there are people looking at you and they're seeing your capabilities and wanting to see what next Crystal has in store in her. So that's my take on it.
Mm,
So yeah, I always keep positive and
sure.
ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
Satia, let me ask you because as a young female among the ranks in Bermuda, what's some of the things you can tell your fellow colleagues around your age or even younger of what this experience in the Dallas Cup has meant for you?
I would say forget everything that happens in Bermuda, like based on the games and how the coaches react to you, how the players react to you, and just be sure in your calls. Like, if you know you make that right call, make it every time. Like, don't hold back just because you feel a certain way of how others are gonna feel.
Okay, all right. And Stephanie, let me ask you, what has been one of the things, a standout thing in a game that you've officiated in that you would never ever forget? Everybody's got one, at least one. Crystal smiling, she's probably got about
I think I have more than one.
5.
um, Standout thing.
Yeah,
It's
something
so
that's
weird because it happened to me the other day again. This is the second time it happened to me actually. It happened at the World Cup, and it happened in a men's World Cup qualifier the other day, where I was on the line, making my regular signal, and out of nowhere, these players like just run up in my flag. I said run up in my flag, but the VAR tell me that I hit them with the flag in some awkward positions as well. I'm like, oh my god, you need to be careful. They're like, you should whack the guy with your flag. You're telling him he needs to be careful.
so players. You're assaulting players when you play.
So,
Okay, all right,
and they all just laugh at me. They always laugh at me.
Natasha, what's that one incident that you would never forget in football?
Um, this is actually terrible, and I haven't done it since. And I didn't do it before I did it either. It was like a one-off type of thing
Okay.
in a game. So I feel so stupid. Anyway, the the player. This was in a game in Bermuda, and
Okay.
it was a preseason game. Okay, the season didn't even start yet.
Okay.
It was a corner kick, and the player kicked the ball, and it never came in, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I signaled for a corner again, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was supposed to be a goal kick," because the ball had to start in on the
Right.
field, and
Yes.
it never came in after he kicked it. Yeah. So
Right.
that was an embarrassing thing. I mean, the players didn't make a big deal out of it, but
Right.
I did in my head, and I was like, "Sis, you got to pay attention." And I haven't done it since.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody needs that one thing. Everybody needs that one thing to remind them to stay focused. And if yours happened in a preseason that's made you stay focused and got you on the FIFA list, hey,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well, a little birdie told me that the three of you will be at the National Sports Center, Philadelphia Stadium tomorrow. Um, are we in for some fun, Crystal?
Sure.
I
Whatever it's
said
gonna be.
always, it has to
Always.
be a part of the game performance. It has to be fun.
All right. All right. Well, Mr. Williams wants to tell me to tell you thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for taking the time to come to Bermuda and assist with training, with officiating, just helping our officials to grow. Your presence, believe it or not, is a monumental thing because we have aspiring young people who want to be on the list, like Natasha, and and Satya striving towards that as well, and others. But just being in Bermuda and them being able to talk and relate to you guys in person is a huge thing. And I want to say thank you very much as well. So go get some rest. Got a big day tomorrow. How's that?
Yep. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Thanks, Earl.
you.
Look, enjoy your night.